Well, if we're gonna do this thing, we might as well do it right? Right? All right, well, I would be honored to introduce you to tonight's guest, Victor Camacho. Now, he is the producer, director, and researcher of the Desvelado Network based in Los Angeles, California, where he hosts the program Los Desvelados. He has been broadcasting for 22 years and investigating topics in the UFO field, the paranormal, forbidden archaeology, conspiracies, and other realities. This unique program focuses on the Hispanic community in the United States and Mexico, and Victor Camacho was born in Mexico, and he has been working in the media for over 29 years. This guy has certainly got me beat. He studied communication at the Weber State University in Utah. Now, Victor Camacho has appeared in popular programs on the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, and in episodes on one of my favorite shows ever, UFO Hunters, and Fact or Faked on the Sci-Fi Channel. And I do not, this is not something I'm just saying just to say it. This really is an honor to welcome Victor Camacho to Midnight in the Desert tonight. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Victor, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Heather. I'm really happy to be in your show. Thank you for the invitation. And also, we have a beautiful night tonight. I mean, it's a full moon. So it's a good sign because there's a lot of things that we can talk about this investigation that we have been doing for almost 6 years about what is happening in Mexico and what is the people discovered in Mexico about these strange artifacts with extraterrestrial characteristics.
But tell me about these stone artifacts. Let's get into that and just start from the very beginning. How did you find out about these artifacts?
All started in 2012. You know, where we were, with all these Maya things, the prophecies, and all the people were expecting the December 21st, 2012 is going to happen something. And I received a call February, like this time, from a friend that he helped me in the show because he has a lot of knowledge about ancient cultures and also the Maya culture. Mm-hmm. So he gave me a call and mentioned that he was working with a family that had found some strange artifacts in their property. So he told me, about these artifacts and the strange characteristics that they have because he mentioned that these artifacts look like a Prehispanic artifacts, but they have alien faces. So he sent me a couple of pictures of these artifacts that he was studying and working with his family. He never mentioned where exactly in Mexico he was doing this, but because he knows a lot of Maya, the Maya culture, I believe he was in the south part of Mexico. So he sent me a couple of pictures of these artifacts that he was studying, and then I look at these pictures, and like everybody else that looked these artifacts in the first time, I mentioned to him that this was too good to be true, because you don't have to imagine anything. I mean, you just see these characteristics, alien characteristics in these rocks, and you don't have any doubt, what that means. I mean, you don't have to imagine anything because it's there. So after that, I didn't hear anything about him for a few months. And about 6 months later, another person that helped me in the show, he called me from another part of Mexico and mentioned that they had found some strange artifacts, stone artifacts in this region. So I asked him in what state in Mexico he had found this, and he mentioned it was in Jalisco. Jalisco, it doesn't have anything to do with the Maya culture, because Jalisco is in the central part of Mexico, the north central part of Mexico. So I asked him if I could go there and see for myself, the people that were finding these artifacts, and he mentioned, yeah, of course, you can come over and I take you to those places. So in the 2012, about in October, we were to Ojuelos, Jalisco. This is the place where these people were finding these strange artifacts. And I mean, when I got there and I started talking to the people in this small town, I found out that there were a few people, I mean, a lot of people finding these artifacts. I mean, it's not just one person or one family. Much of the people that lives in this town, they know about these artifacts, and also they have found this for about 50 or 60 years ago. So it's nothing new. This came from 50 years ago, where the first person started finding these artifacts in this small town. Mm-hmm. So, I found the first person that started finding these artifacts, and I talked to him, and he showed me some the first pieces that I saw the first time. I mean, it's really amazing, when you saw this, and you have these artifacts in your hand, you can touch it and see it for yourself. It's really amazing because you see that this is, really strange things that the people are finding in this town.
Yes. I mean, I'm looking at it here, and I'm looking at the second photo down on our website on midnightinthedesert.com. If you want to, listeners out there, if you want to see this, go to midnightinthedesert.com, click on Victor Camacho's face there, where he's sitting with a few artifacts in front of him that look like extraterrestrials. We'll talk about that. But if you scroll down to the second photo there, my eyes were popping out of my head, Victor, when I was looking at this. These artifacts are clearly, the one sitting on the table is a UFO. I mean, you can't mistake that for anything else.
Yeah, that collection came from another place that is called Teocaltiche. Mm-hmm. It's about 2 hours from Ojuelos.
Ah, okay.
Those UFOs are made with mud. It's clay. The Ojuelos artifacts are rocks. But those in the pictures are made with mud.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, he's a doctor. The person that is in the picture with me, he's a doctor, and he showed me his collection of these strange UFO shaped artifacts, and that's really amazing. I mean, he showed me one of these. I don't know if that's that one that I have in the hand. It has a little window, a little hole in this piece, but you put some light and look in this hole, you see the alien inside sitting. So I don't know if I can explain right to you, but you see this small piece inside of this UFO, and it's an alien sitting inside of this artifact.
That's amazing. Does it look like a gray?
Yeah, it looks like a gray sitting inside, in this piece. So we tried to film it because we did a documental about this investigation the first time that we were to Ojuelos and also to Caltiche. So the cameraman that was with me at that time, I asked him, if he can take, the little alien inside, the little piece with the alien face. It was pretty hard because, the hole was very small, and to focus that with the little light and the camera, it was pretty hard, but we catch it. I mean, we could film this small alien inside of this piece. But yeah, Teocaltiche and Ojuelos, they have these artifacts, and we were investigating, this part of Mexico, Jalisco, and also later, a few months later, I knew that Dr. Jose Jaramillo, the first person that called me with this first report, he was working in other state, knowing Jalisco. He was working in San Luis Potosí. It's close to Jalisco. It's in the same almost the same central part of Mexico.
Okay.
So we have two states in Mexico where the people were finding these artifacts, Jalisco and San Luis Potosí. When I went to Ojuelos the second time, I found another person that he's the person that are selling, the artifacts, because these artifacts has the alien characteristics. The government doesn't accept these artifacts as real, as prehispanic pieces, so they can sell it to anyone that wants to pay the money that they ask. So I found this person. He's an old man, and I asked him if he can take me to the place that he was finding these artifacts. So he took me to one of these places. He told me that this place was a small town in the top of the hill. So he took me to this place at the top of the hill, and he called this place the Lost City because there were a lot of walls, streets, a small edification in the top of the hill, but they were Prehispanics. I mean, pretty old, ancient city in the top of this hill. So he was excavating there, and he found a lot of those artifacts in this place. So he called this place the Lost City in the top of that hill. My third time that I went to Ojuelos, he took me to another place that he called the temple, because the things that he found over there, it's really amazing. He found different kind of artifacts, like ceremonial artifacts, daggers. I don't know how to say that.
Probably, well, if you're talking about ceremonial artifacts, you're probably talking about daggers and staffs and altars and probably figurines of gods and goddesses and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he found, it's really amazing what he's finding in those places, and the work. I mean, how they did these artifacts. The quality of the work, how they work these rocks, the engravings, because all the artifact has different engravings around the rock, and it's really amazing when you see all these artifacts, because it's not just 1, 2, or 10 of these artifacts. It's thousands of these artifacts.
My God. Well, now I understand why you said it's a little too good to be true, because an ancient artifact depicting a UFO, not just a UFO, but with a gray inside. I mean, This is almost too good to be true. A lot of times when you're talking about these anomalous artifacts, it's our interpretation of them and the study behind them that makes them anomalous. These, Victor, are incredible. You just look at it and you know what you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to interpret anything. I mean, you just see and you see the UFO, the engravings with the UFO there, the alien face. The language that is in these artifacts also is really amazing. The history that came with these rocks, I mean, they mean something. I met another person in Aguascalientes, close to Ojuelos. He has a collection about 1,200 pieces. So he invited me to his house to see his collection, and it took about 9 hours to take pictures, a video, almost for all the collection. We have to stay 9 hours.
Oh, wow!
Taking pictures and video. I have to choose, between all these 1,200 pieces, which one I have to put in video and put in photo. So we have worked almost all day with this collection, because I knew that maybe this is the first and the last time that maybe I will see these artifacts, and the engravings, the history that is in these engravings, in these rocks, is really important, because they selling the rocks, so you never know if these rocks right now are in France or in Japan, or in Germany, or in Mexico, and in the United States, because a lot of people are buying these artifacts.
Oh, I see. Well, that would be a good way for someone to make some money, although it's always painful to hear about ancient artifacts from any culture just sort of being bought and sold like that. In my mind, these ancient artifacts belong to the culture they come from.
But well, when I have to buy, a couple of these artifacts to take it with me, and when I was in Ojuelos the first time, when I was planning to go there the first time, I invite 3 of my friends that were archaeologists. They were working with the INA. INA is the Mexican Institute of Archaeology there in Mexico.
Cool.
So I invited, I showed some of those pictures, and I told them, you have to come with me because I need your expertise, your opinion about what is happening right there, what the people are finding. So I was waiting for about 3 to 4 months, because they always say, we are almost ready. Yeah, next week. Just hold on for a couple of weeks. Until I say, well, you're going or not. They mentioned it. They told me, we can't go there. And I say, why? Why not? Because he said, because we can lie. And I say, well, I don't want to lie, to the people. Just tell me this is true or not.
Yeah.
And he mentioned it. The best friend in this with these 3 people. He mentioned, I can risk my job.
Oh, well, that's a story we're very familiar with here in the U.S.
Yeah, and so I took a couple of these artifacts to the INA, to the Mexican Institute of Archaeology, and they don't want to know anything about these artifacts. They even see these artifacts and say, this is fake. And they say, well, just analyze. Do the carbon-14, see it in the microscope? I don't know. Do something.
Yeah,
just
do
tell
some
me
tests.
Why is this fake?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Do some testing on it, and then let's figure out. You can't just assume something is fake until you've done the proper research on it and the proper testing on it. And I think, if it involves UFOs, it at least deserves a decent look. The same look anybody would give to any other set of artifacts. Now, Victor, we've got to take us a break here.
Sure.
But when we come back, of course, there's a lot to talk about on all of this tonight. And Victor Camacho is kind enough to join the program to talk with us about it. And it's just so interesting to me. Please go to midnightinthedesert.com, click on Victor Camacho's photo, and look at these photos. It's just about 2-3 photos we have from him. They're incredible artifacts. Take a look at this, and we'll be right back. I'm Heather Wade. Well, Victor Camacho is here tonight, and we're talking about some very interesting artifacts, especially if you're interested in UFOs, or the alien question, as I love to refer to it as. You gotta go to midnightinthedesert.com and see these photos. Now, Victor Camacho does his own show called Los Desvelados, and you can find more information about his show at desvelado.com. It's also linked up at midnightinthedesert.com, so if you're wondering how in the world, how do I spell that, Heather? Well, don't worry about it. Just go to midnightinthedesert.com, click on Victor's photo, and you'll find the link to his website there. And I believe there's even a book involved here. Forbidden Archaeology, When the Stones Speak, The Man Trembles. I really like that title. So I'd like to welcome Victor Camacho on back to the program. Welcome back, Victor.
Thank you, Heather. I'm ready.
Well, I'm glad you are.
That one is not a book. It's a DVD. It's a documentary about.
Oh, that's a documentary. Oh, okay. On my notes here, it says book, so that's not correct at all. Well, a documentary is even better. Where can that be found? Can I find that on Amazon or where?
No, you have to write me directly, and I can send you that DVD.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, my work is like a not really commercial thing, because it's not a big company behind me. My show also is independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I worked for some companies for a few years, and after that, I have to go out of the system, because for the Hispanic it's more complicated to have a show like this. And I don't know why, but, you have to do it for yourself. It's pretty hard to find a company that can back you up and continue with this show and also this investigation. But it has been, 22 years. Really, it's a great combination, for the people that wants to be up all night and also to share all these extraordinary experiences.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of interesting to me. How are UFOs looked at in the Hispanic community?
I guess it's pretty close. I mean, as you know, our history for the people that came from Latin America, like Mexico and Central America and South America, you know that the origin of these pre-Hispanic civilizations, the old pre-Hispanic civilizations, is based on the arrival of beings from the sky, or from the stars. So these beings, when they came to this part of the world, they established some cultures like Olmec or Maya or Inca or Nahuatl. So, and also the Native American cultures, most of them mentioned that their origin of this culture came from the stars. So we're pretty sure, that we have this contact with these beings for a long, long, long time. So it's not really, that the people doesn't want to know anything about this, but the government doesn't want to know, to confirm that this is a real thing. But the people are really open to the topic.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's pretty cool. So it's not nearly as controversial in Mexico or among the Hispanic people. Now I understand that you sent us a whole lot of pictures that somehow did not make it to the website. So can you tell me what kind of things you saw? I mean, you said that was over 1,200 artifacts. What kind of things did you see in that collection? Well,
when I was doing this, I was doing the documentary about this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
So a Mexican TV company down there, he supported me to, with the cameraman and transportation and all this, because they were very interested about these artifacts. So he gave me the crew to take, all the information that we need to do this program, because we aired in Mexico this documentary about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was, I have these 1,200 pieces in front of me. I have to do like how to say that. To see the main characteristics of these artifacts,
mm-hmm.
And I separate the artifacts in 4 different kinds. The first one, it was because of the engravings that they have. This artifact has the special engraving. So I classify these artifacts in 5 different groups. The first one were the beings with wings. There were a lot of pieces with the engravings of these beings with beautiful wings, like angels, but with the alien faces. So these were the first classification that I did. I have to find all the pieces that has these beings with wings. So I put all this together. We took pictures and video for this kind of engravings in these rocks. The other classification that I did, it was the offering of infants or the children. These are a lot of these artifacts that show how they offering these children to the gods or to the people that came from the stars. So, but these children were alien. I mean, with the alien faces. The long head, the almond-shaped eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So they were offering this to the people that came from these UFOs these UFOs that came from the stars. So they given these children to them. The third classification was different types of beings. When you look at these rocks, you can see a different beings, not just grays. You can see beings with a long neck, another pretty skinny, other with the insectoid characteristics.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, I guess it's like 7 different types of beings in these artifacts. So that's really amazing, because you maybe can think that this is not just one civilization that came from the stars. There were a lot of civilizations that came together to these places, and they put these images and these engravings in these rocks. The fourth classification that I did to these rocks, it was the alien writing or the alien language. A lot of these artifacts came with some ancient language that all those years I can find any ancient language that looked like this alien writing that is in this artifact.
Oh, so these are hieroglyphs that don't exist anywhere else.
No, I checked with the ancient Chinese language. I checked with the Syrian and Babylonical characteristics, and I for now I can't find anything like that with a special writing that is in some of these artifacts. And the last classification that I did is the Prehispanic Glyphs. Some of these artifacts has Prehispanic language like Olmec, Maya, and Nahuatl.
Uh-huh.
That's languages. We know the glyphs and all these symbols that came from these ancient cultures, and some of those artifacts have some of these languages that we know, like Olmec, Maya, and Nahuatl. So that's where the 5 classification that I did to the artifacts, depending on the engravings that they have, inside. But I have to do it, in the moment, because I have never seen these artifacts before. So I have to do something pretty quickly so we can classify and video and take pictures of this collection, that this person has in Aguascalientes. Because as I told you, maybe it was the first and the last time that I see these artifacts. I don't know if he has it, but we have the picture and video of these stones.
Well, right, he has the collection, but you don't know for how long he'll have that collection.
Yeah, because he's selling and buying. He's reselling. And it's pretty expensive, these artifacts, with a person that are reselling these stones. But it's really amazing. The engravings, when you see the engravings and the work, how they work the rock to do something like that is something you see as impossible to do that right now.
Yeah, well, yes. I hardly know where to begin. Here, Victor, there is just so much to talk about. Now, okay, let me start with this. Were you ever able to get anyone to take a serious look at even one piece? Were there ever any tests or anything done?
Yeah. My friend Jose Jaramillo, as I told you, the first person that called me and gave me the first report of these artifacts.
Yeah.
He was working with his family. This family found a cave in his property. Inside that cave, he found those artifacts. So, in some way, they found Jose Jaramillo because he's an expert in ancient cultures and Maya. And he started working with them. And they took 3 pieces to Tucson University, or Arizona in Tucson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they made the carbon-14 analysis. So when this analysis came from this university, one of these artifacts were dated 16,000 years old.
Oh.
The other one is, I guess it was 13,000 years old, and the last one, I guess it was 9,000 years old.
Wow.
So we're talking about a really ancient civilization that established in this region of Mexico.
That's just...
I don't know. I mean, I was like you, 16,000. I mean, nobody was hearing 60,000 years ago,
Well, that's what we're told, right? That's what they tell us in school, at least.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So that's why, the Mexican government doesn't want to be involved on this discovery. What I think is maybe after those 6 years researching these stones, I guess the Mexican government has found these artifacts before, but they keep it. They just put it in the basement in the museums. But right now, because we have the media and the social media. Mm-hmm. As soon as somebody finds something, you just take a picture, and 3 seconds after that, everybody knows, that you found something.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
So what I think is they lose the control. They found this, and they keep this in secret. But right now, the people are finding these artifacts, and they share to the social media, and that's why this was like a fire in the social media when the first pictures came to Facebook and YouTube and all this social media that we know already. Mm. So I guess they lose the control to control this information and control the findings of these artifacts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they lost the control of that kind of control a long time ago. Here in the United States, the Smithsonian, you probably know this already, the Smithsonian tends to take anything out of place and do the same thing. Tuck it away in a cabinet, put it away off someplace. And if you go there and specifically ask for something, I know they have some giant skulls that are really, really big. Human skulls, or what they look like human skulls. I don't know. Yeah. But if you go and specifically ask, of course, you have to go to the right, Smithsonian's a big institution. So it's not like you just walk up to the front door and say, show me the giant skulls. I mean, you have to go to the right area of the institution, ask them, and you can request to be shown them, and they will show them to you. But they're not on display, with the rest of the artifacts, because there's just something, even some people say it's a cover-up. Do you ever think about that, Victor? Do you ever wonder if just because this stuff doesn't fit in and because they do involve extraterrestrials that the powers that be just don't want to deal with it at all and keep it covered up to cover up the truth?
As I told you, I mean, the origin of these ancient cultures in Mesoamerica, and look at what is Mexico and Central America and South America, I mean, the origin of these cultures came from the star. I mean, it came from the start is because somebody came from the start and established this civilization in these ancient places, and they showed me this person that has the 1,200 artifacts in his collection. He showed me one piece, and I mean, I was shocked when I saw this rock with engravings. I will try to explain what this rock has in these engravings. When I showed a picture of this to my friends, archaeologist friends, he mentioned this can be real because it can exist something like this. And what this rock has in it is this is a UFO in the sky with a gray in the earth, and this gray is talking to the Tlatoani. Tlatoani is a king, the ancient king for for Olmecs and Mayas and Nahuatl.
Okay.
So this gray is talking to the Tlatoani, and these engravings are Olmec, Nahuatl, and Maya. So it has the three different languages in one piece. So this gray is talking to the Tlatoani, and he's pointing with his left hand. He's pointing to the sky. And in the sky, there is two suns, two stars. As you know, the grays came from a system that is calling Zeta Reticuli.
Mm-hmm, that's right.
So Zeta Reticuli has two stars. It's a binary system.
Oh, wow.
So if somebody's doing this, I mean, because a lot of people told me, this is fake, somebody's making this. If somebody's doing these rocks, I mean, the engravings in these rocks, this person has to know ancient language, ancient cultures, astrology, astronomy, ufology, and other topics,
Yeah.
Because it's pretty rare for the people to know where the grays came from. I mean, it's a lot of people that like the topic, and you ask them where the grays came from, they can answer that. But this rock has, this gray pointing to the sky, and in the sky is two stars.
Oh, man.
So it's really amazing that this rock. I don't know if he still has this rock in his collection, but I took pictures, and for me, it's one of the pieces that is really amazing because it has three different languages: Aztec, Olmec, and Maya, and he's pointing to the Zeta Reticuli.
Just amazing. Well, you weren't kidding when you said, "Yeah, we'll blow their minds tonight." Do you have a picture of this artifact?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I send it to
Are you sitting at your computer? Can you send it to Heather at midnightinthedesert.com? Or even better than that, send it to Roland at midnightinthedesert.com.
Okay, I will try to.
Yeah, ROWLAND at midnightinthedesert.com. If you send it to Keith there, Keith can possibly, if I ask very nicely, put that up on the website for us tonight, because if you're talking about it, I really want the audience to see it. And look, I want to see it. It sounds so interesting, and I don't think... I'm trying to think back. It's not like I'm an expert in archaeology, but I don't recall ever hearing about any South American or even North American artifact that has all three languages on one piece.
Yeah, I mean, I put to this piece the name the Genesis Stone, because the information that has this rock. I just put that name because it's really, just blow your mind when you saw this artifact. And as I told you, it's too good to be true, Even last year, I was like a 98% sure that this investigation or these artifacts were real, because I talked to this person that I mentioned. He's my guide in Ojuelos. He's an old man, and I told to this person, just tell me the truth. This is real. I mean, I put in my name in this investigation.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
This is real. I mean, this is true. You find these artifacts, and he told me, well, I took you to three places, because he already took me to the other one. I took you to three different places where I found those artifacts. So this is real. This is what he told me,
Well, I mean,
you're never sure, until you find something.
Well, I know. I get people giving me evidence and photos and all kinds of things all the time. And so then, as a broadcaster, you're obligated to go and do the research behind it, so that you can back up whatever the claim is. We gotta take ourselves another break here, Victor.
Sure.
I hope that you do email me the photograph of that, or you can send it to Keith. One of the two. I just want to get it up onto midnightinthedesert.com tonight, because I don't know that any of my listeners have ever seen such a thing, and I want to see it. I mean, that sounds amazing. That really is going to change things. And look, do any of us really have the talent and the skill to kind of manufacture, fabricate artifacts like that? I don't know that any of us do. Anyhow, Victor Camacho is here, and we'll be right back to continue this conversation. Well, how many times now have we posed the question and the theory that sometime between 10,000 and maybe 14,000 years ago, I don't know, somewhere in there, something happened. Something happened, and all of a sudden we have Homo sapiens sapiens. All of a sudden we go from hunting and gathering to putting down roots and creating megalithic structures, and all of a sudden humans are domesticating animals and getting involved in agriculture and establishing civilizations. Well, many thinkers out there, academics, archaeologists, some archaeologists out there wonder what exactly happened. What happened? Well, if you look at the Mexican people, some of the ancient Mexican cultures, well, Victor Camacho, my guest tonight, just may have the proof. I would call this pretty good proof. I mean, it's as close as we're going to get, isn't it? Until somebody invents the time machine that allows us to go back in time and see for ourselves. He may have the proof of such intervention. I'd like to welcome Victor back to the show. Hey, Victor. This could prove, like I said, or be as close as we're going to get to proof. This artifact that you're talking about, that I asked you to email me the photo, or email Keith Rowland the photo of, that might be the artifact that proves it.
For me, this is a real ancient alien. I mean, this is the thing, because as I told you, not just a couple pieces that some people found it. This is thousands of these artifacts in different states, not just one place. So what I just told you is what happened the first time with this investigation, because it has been 6 years following these discoveries. And, it has been amazing places where I have to go and find out for myself, where the people are finding these artifacts. And what I told you, the first part of this talk is Ojuelos is the main place, and also San Luis Potosí. But another person told me that they were finding these artifacts in other place in Mexico. The state is called Veracruz. Veracruz is a tropical weather place close to the Gulf of Mexico. Mm-hmm. And a year ago, when we arrived to Mexico, this friend sent me a small information, in a web page that mentioned that a group of metal, how you say that? These people that are hunting treasures and gold.
Oh, yes.
So this is a group in Mexico, a big group, a big organization in Mexico that has different groups in different states in Mexico that, it's like a hobby to go treasure hunting and gold hunting. Mm-hmm. And one of these groups in this region, they found strange rocks with alien characteristics. So he sent me this article in the website that they put it, and I remember I talked to my wife. It was a Saturday, and when I read this, and I told my wife, we need to find a way to talk to this group and see if we can go to the place that they had found these artifacts. because it's pretty far from Jalisco, and Veracruz is far away. And I say that in Saturday night, and Sunday morning somebody called me and said, I'm, a person for this group that we want to take you to this place where we found these strange artifacts. So it was like it's really strange, because I just mentioned to my wife that we need to find these people, and they called me next day. And he said, and I asked him, yeah, of course, we can go there. And I asked him, when you can take me to this place? And he mentioned it, well, next weekend. So we have to do a lot of things, to make sure that we can go with them to this place. I never met these people before, and they told me, well, we'll see you next Saturday, 5 in the morning. Just go to this small town and rent a room in this small hotel. And he gave me all the instructions, to meet him and his group over there.
Mm-hmm.
So as you know, there's a lot of places that is not safe in Mexico.
Right.
So this is one of these places,
Oh, no. Oh.
And I told my wife, this guy just told me to meet him in this small town. We never met him before, You think that we can go there? I mean, is it safe to go there? And it was amazing that these people call me. I mean, I even tried to find them, and they call me. And I say, this is like a sign that we need to go there. So we went this Friday night, and meet him in Saturday in the 5 a.m. in this place. And, they took us to a cave in the middle of the jungle in Veracruz. He never mentioned, what kind of trip that we will do this time. So I was already prepared with the things that we really need. But, we took the risk and we went with them to the jungle. I have to say that when we arrived to the limit of the jungle, we had to walk like 3 hours in the middle, the trees and hills and the river. It was pretty hard to get to this cave where this person or this group found these artifacts.
Yeah, I bet that was quite a hike, and you weren't really prepared for that.
Yeah, they never mentioned that we have to cross the river and, walk like 3 hours, something like that. But anyway, it was pretty hard to get there. And when we finally get to this cave, it was amazing, because they told me that this cave has engravings in the floor and also in the how you say...
in the walls, in the ceiling?
Yeah, in the walls. That this is not really a big cave. It's like 15 meters long, and inside of this cave there were more engravings, and this was the place where they found these strange artifacts too. So we were to this cave, and all. It's really amazing. You see the engravings in the rock, in the floor, in the walls. So when they took us to inside of this cave, it was really amazing getting there. And when we were in there, we found gold inside.
Oh.
I don't know. It's really amazing when you found gold. I never found gold before, But when we were inside of this cave, seeing the engravings and taking pictures and video of these marks in the rocks, I saw something that was like a light in the floor, and I tell to my cameraman to put the light in the floor, and it was amazing to see how the light, the floor, just start lighting a little pieces of gold, in the floor, I sent you a picture of that so you can see it.
I think I do see that, actually. You sent me an email here with a bunch of photos on it, and I'm going through that right now. And let me get back to that here. I see a photo of what looks like a cave floor with some gold on it. So what I'll do, I can send that to Keith and ask him to post that on the website for us so everyone can see it. But I don't see here a photo of the artifact you were describing with the gray talking to the king. It
was the first email that I sent you. I don't know I sent you like 3 emails.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me go back and check it again here. Maybe it's in there.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Maybe it's this one. I'm trying to kind of get this done while we're talking, and I'm not too good at doing 2 things at once, Victor. So.
I sent it to Roland too, so I don't know if he has.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Emails.
Right. I'll keep looking here because, man. Oh, I think I found it. Genesis Stone.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I just need these to download here, and I'll get those over to Keith. So, listeners out there, we're going to get this photo of this. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, Victor, for interrupting you here, but I'm now looking at this artifact. Oh my God, Victor. Okay, well, there's no time to waste here. We got to get these up on the website. Keith is asking me, just tell me the one that you want. So I'm going to get this to him right now. Boy, does this ever feel like old times with art. This is what he used to do on his show with photos and such. Okay. No, he says don't email them to him. He has them, so he just wants me to tell him which ones. Okay, so I would say it's Genesis Stone. All 3 Genesis Stone artifact photos.
It's the same piece. I mean, this is one picture with a whole piece, another is 2 parts.
Mm-hmm. Right. So. Yeah, the ones, Keith, if you're listening to me, the ones that say Genesis Stone, I think there's 3 different photos of that artifact, and I'd like all 3 of those on the website because, oh man, we got a lot to talk about there, and I got so excited about that, Victor. The 3 Genesis photos, Keith. That's all we're looking for right now. Just those 3 would be perfect. And now I have interrupted you, Victor. I'm really sorry about that. And I think you were telling me about the floor of this cave where you found the gold.
Well, we found gold. You know, it was really amazing because this is the 3rd time that this group were to the cave. It wasn't the first time. I mean, with us, it's the 3rd time that they were in this cave. And they never found gold inside. So I don't know what happened, but as I told you, tonight we have a full moon. When we did this investigation in the jungle in Veracruz, we have a full moon. We were 13 people in this group, you know, doing this trip to the cave. I don't know. If maybe some people say, well, this doesn't mean anything, you know. But it's like a magical thing when you combine all elements about this. And when we were inside this cave, we found this gold, you know, all in the floor. I don't know, really amazing because this is no normal gold. I mean, the natural gold is, you know, like a small rocks.
Mm-hmm, little chunks.
Or maybe inside in the rock with quartz. Mm-hmm. But nothing like this. This is a little, how you say that, the laminas in English is sheets?
Sheets, or as I'm looking at it now, we're going to be driving Keith nuts all night because now I want to have him post the photo of the gold. I got to find a file name there because, well, I just have a little rule, Victor, that if we are talking about photos, well, then the whole audience ought to see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So let me go way down here now. Here it is. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at it here, and I can't quite get the file name of this photo, but what I'm going to do, it's okay. What I'm going to do is
Victor Gold, Veracruz Jungle.
Okay. All right. So let me just get this to key. Well, no, that's not going to work.
I'm sorry that we have to do this, but, you know, it's better when the people see something,
yes.
And I mean, the radio is magical because you're talking and the people just imagine in their mind, whatever we're saying. Mm-hmm. But it's better when you see a picture or something, interesting.
Oh, yes, it absolutely is. And it looks like, you know what it looks like to me, Victor? Almost like if something had been covered in gold and it got rubbed or something like that, and some flecks or flakes of it came off.
Yeah, some kind of flakes. And this is not natural. I mean, as I told you, the natural gold is not like this.
No, you're right.
So the question is, these guys were there 2 times before. This is the 3rd time that they were in the cave, and they never see this. I mean, they are experts to find gold. They have, the metal detector, all this stuff, and they never see this before. So I don't know, somebody has to put this gold in the floor before we arrive there, or the gold came from another place, but it's no way that the gold came from, another hole or something, It's really amazing. We took some of this gold with us, and but, when we found this, the people were crazy. They forget about the artifacts and the rocks and whatever you're looking for, They were, crazy to collect the gold. And we lose a lot of time there, because they want us to go out of the cave and until they collect all this stuff. But anyway, and this time, something happened. My wife was in the cave, taking pictures, and also, she was taking rocks. She likes rocks, so she was collecting rocks inside of this cave, and she found one of these artifacts.
Oh,
inside of this cave. So this is the piece that make for me sure that this investigation and these artifacts are real.
Oh,
because this is the piece that we found inside in the cave in the middle of the jungle. So I am 100% sure right now that this is a real thing. I mean, this is the real ancient aliens, and this civilization came from the stars, and they established their cities in different states of Mexico, and leave these stones as a library. They were here before, and they established their families or the civilization here, and then disappear, or maybe they moved to another place.
Well, maybe they just wanted to civilize the savages. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the Mexican people. I mean all of humans, because we were hunting and gathering at that time. We weren't putting roots down. We weren't, we were nomads at that time. And so here come a wiser, more advanced, race of people who show up and say, we'll teach you agriculture, we'll teach you about engineering, we'll teach you mathematics and science and all of these areas, and show you how to build a civilization. And maybe it's kind of like teaching a child how to ride a bike. Maybe when they saw that they could take the training wheels off, they just went back to Zeta Reticuli.
Some of these artifacts, some of these stones has the engravings about some kind of mix between them and the people that live there. It's like a hybrid thing. Mm-hmm. Because some of these beings that are engraving in these rocks, it looks like an alien with human characteristics. But also, most of the alien or the extraterrestrial figures in these artifacts has 4 fingers, all of them. But when you see a hybrid, it has 5 fingers.
Oh, that's an important detail. Well, I have to let everybody know the photos of the Genesis Stone, Victor's Genesis Stone, are on midnightinthedesert.com right now. Thank you very, very much to Keith. I owe you a steak and a beer.
Yeah, right there. Mm-hmm.
And they are absolutely there. Also, if you scroll, you have to scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see the picture of the gold that was found on the bottom of the cave floor that Victor Camacho was just telling us about. So, and this is exactly how it's done. If you want to talk about these kind of things and then show them to the listeners out there, I'm having a hard time concentrating, Victor, because I'm looking at this Genesis stone. This is amazing.
You can describe it better than me to the listeners.
Well, I don't know.
I told you there's a gray pointing to the sky.
Yes.
There is two stars in the middle of the rock. You can see two stars, two suns.
Right there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Tlatoani is the person in front of this alien.
Mm-hmm.
The Tlatoani is sitting in the throne, and he's talking. You see the little symbol in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He calls in Nahuatl it's Bergula. It's called Bergula. This symbol is the communications symbol.
Okay, I mean, it looks
talking to the gray.
Yeah, it looks like a universal symbol for he's talking.
Mm-hmm. And the gray is pointing to the sky, and you see the little footprints.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this footprint is the symbol for walking, but when you go to one place to another one,
okay. So this is
the footprints came from the sky, and others go to the sky. So that means that they have this communication between maybe these two worlds. They came from there, but also they can go over there. I mean, they can walk the two ways.
Right, because if you look at the footprints, they are kind of indicating that this goes both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also a little bit to the top, in the middle, you see like a little mushrooms.
Uh-huh.
This mushroom is not mushrooms. They call this the sky, eyes of the sky. This is an Olmec characteristic. This eyes that came from the sky,
mm-hmm.
and also the footprints go far to the top of this this piece, and also to the right side of this rock. This is a symbol of Venus, the Maya symbol. So we see here three different languages: Olmec, this is the oldest one, Maya, and then Nahuatl. So this is the piece that I told you that my friends, archaeologist friends, mentioned that this can be real, or it can be something like that,
Well, again, you've probably heard about the Egyptian hieroglyphs, frequently referenced by those who work on this show, Ancient Aliens, and I know some of the guys who work on that show, and they depict what looks like an airplane and a helicopter and maybe a submarine, and these are hotly debated. People go back and forth. Oh, that's not what it looks like. You're just looking at it through the lens of modern eyes. Really, this is just hieroglyphs on top of hieroglyphs on top of hieroglyphs, and then they get distorted, and now they look this way. What you have here, Victor, Mr. Camacho, what you have here cannot be misinterpreted to be anything else. I mean, it is clearly depicting a gray with a ship above him, and it looks like, it's sort of beaming down as if, look, this ship belongs to this guy, this gray, and there's the king on his throne talking to him. The gray's pointing up at the sky. I don't know if the gray is saying, look, we come from here, or what exactly is being said there, but this is huge. Huge.
You don't have to imagine anything. I mean,
no,
it's there.
You don't. You absolutely don't. And I'm about to lose track of time here. We got to take us another break. And when we come back, boy, do we have... Oh, my God. I am just floored by what I'm looking at. And it almost feels like a privilege to look at what I'm looking at. I mean, this is just amazing. got to see this with your own two eyes. With your own two eyes. It won't cost you a thing. Go to midnightinthedesert.com and click on Victor Camacho's photo and scroll down, and all I will tell you, feast your eyes on, I think, the one artifact that most clearly depicts ancient aliens. This is the real deal. And we'll be right back, and we'll find out more about these artifacts from Victor Camacho. Oh, are we ever cooking tonight, man? Talk about raging through the night. You know, when I say I gotta bring the goods to this program, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Boy, did Victor Camacho ever bring the goods. I am very impressed with Victor Camacho. Not only does he do 6 hours a night of late nights insomniac talk radio, but he has brought tonight a photo of one of the most amazing artifacts I have ever laid my eyes on. My thoughts right now are going so fast in my mind. I'm really trying to slow them down and settle on one question, one train of thought, because I am just really so excited by what I'm looking at. And again, this artifact that you're looking at, if you're on midnightinthedesert.com and you scroll down, you got to click on Victor Camacho's photo. He's sitting there with a few ancient alien artifacts in front of him. Scroll down and feast your eyes on this stone. Now, let me see here. This is going to be about the third photo down, and you're going to see 3 photos of this stone. It's a white stone. The 2 photos below the first one are close-ups, and take a look at this gray depicted in this artifact. If that can be interpreted as anything else, please do call me up tonight and let me know. And when I open up the phone lines, I would love to hear your reactions to what you're looking at tonight. And I'd like to welcome Victor Camacho back to the show. I am quite impressed, Victor. You have brought the goods tonight. Oh man, have you ever brought the goods tonight?
Really, it's amazing that, I mean, this is, when I show this in some conferences that they have invited me to share this information, you know, the people, you know, just blows their mind when they saw this kind of artifacts and the engravings. And also when they see the artifacts for themselves, because I have some of them, and I show them when I do the lectures. And I mean, you can see it, you can touch it, you see that it's a real thing, you know.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Well, this looks like it's made from stone. Any idea what kind of stone this is? Is this some sort of marble?
No, this is a really interesting question because, you know, the matrix of this stone is totally different. It's like they put like a quartz in the front, and they did the engravings over the quartz. But the matrix, the material, the natural material behind this rock, is nothing like that. You know, it's like they put like a liquid quartz in this rock, and they engrave inside. I mean, the work that they made is really amazing. What I found for the rocks in Ojuelos, there is 4 different rocks, types of rocks in Ojuelos. It's rhyolite, granite, basalt, and tufa. These 4 different types of rocks. And also, when I told you that we were to this cave in the middle of the jungle in Veracruz, the artifacts in Veracruz are totally different from the material is like a river stone. Mm-hmm. And they did engravings over these river stones, and also there in Veracruz there is a piece that show the exchange that these beings have or did with the ancient people. And this is a real special. It's like the Genesis stone, but this stone talk about the exchange between how these beings maybe gave to the ancient people corn, mm-hmm. In exchange for sperm.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's what I see in this rock. I mean, the engravings in this rock in Veracruz, they show this exchange between corn and sperm, human sperm for corn.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, the ancient corn, right now they don't have any idea where the corn came from. Most of the grains has ancient origin, but the corn doesn't have any ancient origin. So it is like a human thing, because the human, we don't have, where we jump from apes to Homo sapiens.
Mm-hmm.
This is the link that they can find.
Right.
So it's happening with the corn also, because there is no any link, the origin of the corn in the ancient times.
Oh,
so the rock shows the interchange. I mean, they change maybe the corn for human sperm.
Mm-hmm. This is a very important detail, actually. This is an incredibly important detail because, again, like I said, my mind is racing now. You really got my gears turning on this. And it occurred to me, all the ancient people whose cultures center around corn. Now, I'm talking about the Navajo people, the Hopi, a lot of Native Americans, probably not my own tribe. I think I don't think the Choctaw tribe is centered around corn. But think about this. All the cultures that are centered around corn, if you ask them, where did your culture come from? Where did your ancestors come from? Well, I know that the Navajo will point to the sky, and they'll tell you they came from the sky. All the cultures, oh gosh, who was it? There's the, maybe you can help me out with this, Victor. There's certain people that live near the Nazca lines? There's a certain people down there, they eat a lot of corn, a whole lot of corn. They're these runners. They can run incredibly long distances. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I guess it's the Incas.
Okay, all right.
The main culture there is the Incas.
The main culture is the Incas. Well, I know there's a specific tribe of people, and they're known for being long distance runners. I mean, these guys can run for hours and not get tired. I don't know
because in the north part of Mexico there is the Tarahumaras.
There you go. That's who they are.
This is in Chihuahua, Mexico's the north part.
Yes, I remember that about Chihuahua. Okay, all right. And so these people will also say that their ancestors come from the sky, and their main part of their diet is corn. I mean, they make corn beer, they make corn bread, all kinds of things out of corn. Mm-hmm. And so, I never thought about that before, but now that you bring it up, this is something that ought to be looked at.
Yeah, this stone has this interchange. I mean, the exchange that they made for human sperm, and they gave this corn and the grains of the corn. Maybe is what happened in the ancient times, that maybe this beings from the start, they gave them the corn, and they started cultivating the corn in the ancient times. I mean, the history that is in these rocks is really amazing, because what he's talking is that these beings came from a planet that maybe a big asteroid hit this planet, and they have to leave this planet to another place. And also these another artifacts that has like a map where they came from, because it's different planets. It's like a guide to, or maybe to remember where they came from, because the first in a lot of these artifacts has this planet hit by an asteroid, and then they have to leave this planet, and maybe they established the civilization here in here.
Mm-hmm. And then tried to breed with us.
Yeah, maybe they tried to breed, or they tried to hybrid, or maybe they hybrid with the ancient people that lives in in these places.
Mm-hmm, because, think about it, all in these same locations that you're talking about, well, maybe not the same exact locations, but very close nearby in the whole area. And, of course, if you go a little bit north of Mexico, you still find elongated skulls and giants.
Yeah.
And where did they come from? Lovelock Cave in Nevada. You know about Lovelock Cave?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was found there is completely anomalous. I mean, this doesn't fit in with anything we've been told in school about, the origins of mankind. But if you take your artifacts into account, the story of the corn, and then everything, all the good researchers out there researching elongated skulls, it starts to fit together and it starts to make sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's really incredible, As I told you when we started, it's too good to be true.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that's what you said, but how did you, when you looked at this stone for the first time, the Genesis stone, I know you said, well, this is too good to be true, but what else was going through your mind?
That I have a lot of work to do, because it is not just to see these artifacts. You need to investigate and try to go as deep you can, with this investigation. After we were to Veracruz, I received another report that they had found another pieces, another artifacts, another state called Michoacán. So 2 weeks later, after we visited the cave in the middle of the jungle, we were to Michoacán, and I mean, it's really amazing the kind of the artifacts that the people had found in Michoacán. What I mean amazing is because almost all the artifacts there are made in jade and gold.
Oh my! So
it's a beautiful work. I mean, the work that they did to these artifacts is beautiful, and the material is amazing. The jade, they have different kinds of jades. They have a imperial jade, the green color. They have a orange color. They have a rose and white jade. I sent you one of these pieces, a picture of these pieces there.
Oh, okay. Let me check.
And I don't know, it's thousands of these artifacts found in Michoacán. So what happened right now is, and before I have to come to the States again, about in August, I received another report in Puebla. So we have Jalisco, we have San Luis Potosí, we have Veracruz, we have Michoacán, and now Puebla. We have 5 different states where these artifacts have been found and made with different stones, but has the same characteristics. So it's something really incredible, that it's not just one small town where these people had found these artifacts. It's 5 different states with different material, but has the same characteristics.
Yes. Now that has got to, I see now I don't understand why that wouldn't get the attention of professional archaeologists out there. If it was one artifact, or even 2 or 3, let's just say a small handful of anomalous artifacts were found somewhere and say they look like extraterrestrial grays, okay, maybe one guy 10,000 years ago was having fun making carvings. Okay. But when you're talking 5 states in Mexico, and you match that up with petroglyphs that are found in the United States and also in Mexico, then, well, this is different. Now think about all the cultures who have said, all the cultures in the Mexico and South American area have said, look, our culture comes from the sky. And then you bring in the idea of the corn. We really don't know, where does corn come from? You have to have corn to grow corn. So where did it come from?
Yeah.
Then this starts to really flesh out a picture to answer a question that, well, for the longest time now, people in ufology have been trying to piece together. And I may sound a little dramatic tonight just because I'm so impressed with what you've brought forward to the table. But this stone, this Genesis stone, just may clinch all of it.
Yeah, no, really, really incredible. This rock and these engravings. The first picture that you put in the webpage is one of the pieces in Michoacán.
Okay.
So it's a big piece.
Yeah, this
is
like giant.
The size of a twin bed. Behind me, there is some other artifacts with jade. It's a green jade behind me. This is about 3 or 4 pieces that you can see in this picture,
wow.
And the big one in the top of the bed.
Wow, that great big stone. First of all, the first thing I notice is the look on your face. You're so proud of yourself there, and I don't blame you a bit. And this giant piece, how in the world, where did you find it? How in the world did you even carry that? That thing looks like it must weigh a ton.
What the people told me in Michoacán, they have found these pieces because they were building, they were making a highway, freeway. So they have to block the ground, and when they did that, the bulldozer, this thing hit big rocks. So when they tried to take these rocks out of the way, they noticed that it's not just a rock. It was, a big thing with the engravings and the alien faces. So some of the engineers that were working at that time, they took these artifacts by helicopter. I mean, it's the only way to take it out from there. So it's a big pieces. It's big pieces that they took from this area. And right now they found it. I mean, you see that one that I show you in the picture. This is a small one because there is a bigger of those artifacts.
Good Lord. Well, and I'm looking at the face. It almost looks like the face of a Mayan king or maybe an Incan king. But if you look at the features of the face, now I'm seeing, gray type features. The eyes look like gray type eyes. They're alien. They're colored, an alien green. Look at the mouth. The mouth is not very pronounced. A lot like today when people say that they have an encounter with the Greys, they'll describe the mouth as just a slit, not much to it. This is what we see here, but here, and I bet you notice this too, on the chin and on either side of the nose, you have there what looks like gray type figures, and the one that's on the chin, boy, does that ever look like a gray on an examination table.
Yeah, something like that. He's lying in somewhere.
Well, and when you look at the skulls, just look at the shape of the skull and the shape of the eyes. It's not human.
No. I mean, for the big face, maybe it's a hybrid.
Right.
But the other ones is a gray. I mean, you can see it's a gray.
And maybe this is a hybrid, a face of a hybrid that we're looking at, who was then somehow appointed king. Maybe because, these are the people that brought us the corn. Corn is delicious. Make him king. I don't know how it went.
Yeah, the knowledge. They brought the knowledge to these tribes in that time, and they have now civilization because they have the knowledge from the stars.
Right. They would have been revered and honored because they brought such knowledge to the people. I mean, look, living in the jungle, from what little I know, is incredibly difficult. And if someone were to come down from the sky and give you corn when you live in the middle of the jungle, I'd make that person king too.
Yeah, I mean, this just show that this civilization came from the stars and made contact with the ancient people here, and they live together. I mean, maybe they have this encounter and hybrid with the ancients, and they make home here, and somehow they disappear, or maybe they have to leave again the planet, but they leave this as a library stone, with the information that they were here and they shared the planet with the people, the ancient people here.
Mm-hmm. And they made these carvings in stone that they knew would last the test of time. Why? Because they're trying to send a message to generations through time. Mm-hmm. This is a time capsule, I guess we could look at it as. I mean, they wanted to leave this behind for those who would come after them to tell this story. And it's an amazing, amazing story. And I wonder now, because if you fast forward a little bit into history. Now, a lot of people say that the Inca and the Maya disappeared because the Spanish arrived and brought disease. Well, what if the Greys came back and said, hey, you guys want to come with us?
Well, maybe they live in the, how do you say that, in the caves, because there is a person that had contact experience in Morelos, and he mentioned that he was taken to a big cave in the south part of Mexico called Chiapas, in that state. Mm-hmm. And in this state, it's also jungle, it's virgin ground over there. But there is a tribe that lives inside this part of the jungle. And he mentioned that when he was taken to this cave in that part of Mexico, he saw these people living with them. It's like a communion, between these people that live in the jungle. They have this relationship with them in the deeps of these caves.
And do we know what the people who live in the caves look like?
It's like us. Basically, it's like how you say that in English? Is Nordic.
Nordic, okay.
Nordics, yeah, the Nordics that lives in these caves, and they have this communion or this relationship with native or the locals that live in this part of Mexico.
All the phone lines are open as well. I mean, let's start taking your calls on this. Have you ever seen anything like this? Like what Victor Camacho has brought tonight to the program. I mean, this is amazing. This is incredible. I want to welcome Victor on back to the show. Well, first of all, how in the world are you here tonight? Did you have to take a night off of your show?
Yeah, I have to record the show.
Oh, you put on a replay. Oh, man.
Yeah,
wow.
I have to record the show.
Wow. Well,
that's great. I mean, we have a good night, and I want to share this information with your listeners, because maybe they haven't heard about this before.
Yeah,
it's very important that they hear this and know what is happening and what is finding in Mexico.
Yes. Well, and I'm thinking of other people that do other shows that I don't know how you're ever going to find the time, but that I would like to hook you up with. First of all, do you know Whitley Strieber?
Yeah.
You do? Have you done a show on this with him?
No.
Oh, man,
never.
You should. You should. He would love this. You got to send him an email. I will get you Whitley's private email address and send that to you. Actually, let me write this down because I want to hook you up with him.
Okay.
Because I bet this would make a really cool dreamland for you to tell us about him. And it's going to get this information to a whole other crowd out there. The Dreamland audience is a really big audience. He's done that show for years and years now. Let me make a note here to get you Whitley's email, because I don't want to forget to do that tonight after the show.
Okay.
Because that, I can just imagine, I can just hear it now, his reaction to this. Okay, now, what did your listeners think about all this?
Oh, like you. I mean, they're amazed, when they hear all this investigation. When we start, when the first person called us, and Dr. Jose Jaramillo called me, and also he was in my show mentioning what he's finding in this place in Mexico. But the more amazing thing is when we aired the documentary in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a 52-minute documentary about, the findings in Ojuelos and Teocaltiche, visiting the lost city, showing, the 1,200 collection that this person has in Mexico, in Aguascalientes. All this, what I talked to you in the first hour, we show in the TV. I mean, we air in the TV station, and the people just were talking and asking. I guess this is what is happening, that they don't want to the people to think and ask about these artifacts. We did another documentary about another expedition, but this channel, this TV station, they just told me that they lose all the information and they couldn't air the documentary. After we went to the jungle in Veracruz, I went to a program that they have, this company. They led me, to show the gold and the piece that we found inside this cave. But after that, they just closed the door, and we don't have any more communication with the media, with this company over there. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if somebody called in and say, you have to stop to show this. But we have found some problems in Mexico when we try to show this to the people.
Well, I'm not surprised. Have any government officials reached out to you to tell you, hey, knock it off, cut this out, don't talk about this stuff?
No, but they don't want to talk to me either. I mean, I went to the INA, to the Mexican Institute of Archaeology, and they don't want anything. I mean, they just say, no, this is fake and goodbye, But they don't want even to see this artifact. They don't want to see, to touch it, to analyze. So it's total indifference with the government. They don't want to see and to do anything with these artifacts right now.
Well, that just makes it that much more interesting to the rest of us. I have so many questions for you. We're definitely going to run out of time, and I'm still going to have questions for you. Let's take a few calls, Victor, and see what's on the minds of the people out there. Like I told everybody, the phone lines are open. You're more than welcome to join us here tonight. Victor Camacho and myself. Which, I think this is a rare opportunity. I mean, Victor had to put a replay on his show so he could appear on Midnight in the Desert tonight. Now, you guys know what a big deal it is when Midnight in the Desert has to put a replay on. You know how it is, Victor. So that he did that to appear on this show tonight, that is a big deal to me. Let's make the most of this time that we have with Victor. I'll go here to the phone. On the phone, you're on the air with Victor Camacho. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Heather.
Well, good evening.
I have a couple questions and a story to tell, Victor.
Yes.
I'll start with the story. Years ago, when I was dating my wife, I was a younger man. We were in high school. I went over to her house, and I've always been big on artifacts. And sitting on the counter of her mother's house was this little chili grinder. Had 3 little legs made out of lava rock, and it was all dished out. You could tell it had been used a lot. And I just flipped when I saw that. I asked her mom, where did you find this, And she looked at me really funny, and she said, well, I bought it in the store. Well, yeah. I mean, so to my questions, how do you authenticate your engravings? You take a piece of granite that has engravings on it that dates 25,000 years old. You engrave something on it, it's still going to date 25,000 years old, even if it was engraved a day ago.
Okay, as you know, the rock can be carbon dated, because this is a rock. You need something organic. Mm-hmm. To do that. So some of these pieces has different rocks on it, like something glued to this main artifact. So what they do in the laboratory is to take out this piece and analyze the adhesive or the glue that was used. So this is organic.
Okay, that's smart.
This is what is dating. I mean, is what they use it to carbonate dating these pieces. That's why they mentioned that has 16,000 years old. But the rock, they can't do that. They have something organic.
Right, so at least we have an approximate dating of the adhesive, the glue that was used.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let's bring our caller back, see what he thinks about that. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a good way. I mean, if you can find an adhesive that you can date to a certain date, that would work.
I mean, look, I get what you're saying. It still doesn't tell us exactly when it was carved, but it does at least tell us when these two stones were glued together, an approximate date. So I hear you.
Right, yeah. And you can go down to Mexico and in the tourist areas. I mean, this kind of stuff is big money. I mean, you can find this stuff all over the place that tourists buy it left and right, thinking they're buying original artifacts, and they're not. They're copies.
Same thing happens in Egypt. In fact, I have in my living room a copy of an Egyptian artifact. I know it's a copy. It's not really worth much, but it's a copy of an artifact that depicts Nefertiti, and I really am fascinated with her. And since that's kind of the thing that goes on in Egypt, I figured, why bother looking for the real thing? The real thing belongs to the people. I'll go ahead and take the copy. But yes, that kind of thing does go on. And I think that's why Victor, his first thought was, okay, I've got some work to do here. We've got to try and authenticate these and do some research.
Yeah, but also when you see these artifacts, they have been made in amazing work. I mean, when you saw a copy and you saw the original, you see the difference. I mean, it is you really can see that the original is the copy is a total difference. It's pretty hard to do these artifacts right now. I mean, they can do it, but they took a lot of time to do it, and also a lot of money to do that. So the copies are totally different to the originals.
Well, okay, but I do hear what you're saying there on the line. Caller on the line. I get you. I do.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? Any other comments?
No, it's just you find thousands and thousands of these, and Victor has thousands and thousands of them. It makes me wonder, are each and every one of those an original, or are they copies? Yeah,
it does make a person wonder. Now, he isn't in possession of all of these. He got to view them in somebody's private collection.
Oh, I don't have thousands of these artifacts. These are a lot of money.
Yeah, I just... What's that?
I just assumed they were his, But yeah, I mean, has he ever found a fake in any of his that he's visited or looked at?
Yeah, somebody told me that some people are doing this in Ojuelos, and I asked for them, and I haven't found anybody to do that. But I found a piece that somebody made it in another state, and you see the difference between the original and the fake. Yeah, you see. And also, I mean, it's a wonderful work what they doing with these artifacts, and you see it. I mean, you have a good eye, you see the difference.
And an archaeologist would also see the difference. And maybe, this is the trouble with the work that we do, Victor, is because there are people out there perpetrating hoaxes. There are people out there putting out fake news, if you will.
The thing is, the piece that we found, that who is going to put this in the deep of this cave, in the middle of the jungle, and put some gold in the floor, just to wait to somebody find it, So when we found this artifact for ourselves, it made me sure that this is a real thing.
Right, because this isn't somebody telling you where they got it and where they found it. You found this stuff on your own.
Yeah.
And again, the person, if, and this is a huge if, but if somebody were to fabricate these, they would have to have such an intimate knowledge of all of these cultures in order to create this, and they'd have to be masters at stonework. Absolute
they
masters.
have to have the knowledge of the ancient language, ancient cultures, astronomy, astrology, ufology, and other stuff, because it's not just, I have this idea, let me put this in this rock. No, I mean, they have some meaning. It has some kind of information. I mean, it's not just, I just figure out how to do this, I mean, when you put all this together, it has information.
Yes. Oh, it does. And I think this is important information for all of us. Absolutely, for all of us. But I can understand the caller's thoughts there. I mean, that was your first thought. I've got to figure out, do I have something real on my hands? Look, I was given this government document last year, and that's one thing that I've been doing, trying to authenticate it. Is this thing for real? Because there's no other way to proceed than that, and you know that very well, Victor. We'll go on here. We do have a break coming up here real soon, but on the phone, you're on the air with Victor Camacho. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Heather. I'm convinced tonight that you and Victor are trying to kill me. I'm going down the interstate 75 miles an hour, 79,000 pounds, and you keep talking about this stone. Now I've been trying to look at it. I can't take my eyes off of it, trying to look at this Genesis stone.
Oh, no.
I survived it.
Every night, I'm telling you, be careful out there, be careful out there. Now we're trying to kill you, Alan.
Yeah, I know. I want to tell you, these stones look a lot like the round stones that Don Vanaken was showing he found them in Mexico. The
Eric.
Similarity between Eric
Von Daniken. Yes.
Yeah, he found these round stones, and it has a lot of these markings, but not identical, but they're similar.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you, looking at these stones, immediately came to my mind, here this person has gone into a cave, carved these into the walls, into the ceilings, into the floors, and have all these artifacts in a cave. And it made me wonder if, looking at the, what was the stone? The stone with the two suns?
Mm-hmm. The Genesis stone?
Genesis stone, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the Genesis stone, and I'm like, what if these graves took this chief or high priest back to where they come from?
Right.
That's what he's pointing at. He's showing, and he comes back, and he is just consumed by this.
Well,
and he's telling everybody and putting this in art form to show everybody what he saw when he was there. And I was just wondering if he had thought about that or what he thinks about that.
So what do you think about his question? Do you think perhaps the king depicted in this stone, the Genesis stone, maybe went with the extraterrestrial?
That's why it's important to share this, because, two heads think better than one.
Right.
So maybe they see something that I don't see, and maybe this is what happened in the ancient times. They took to this Tlatoani, this king, to the Zeta Reticuli and take it back, Maybe there's a possibility to mention this. And as I told you, any idea that you have are welcome, because we need to figure out this puzzle. It's a lot of pieces that we need to put together. Is nothing that we can compare with, and that's why it's important to hear any ideas, any comments about this investigation.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm with you. In fact, when I brought you on, before we even hit the air tonight, that was the first thing I said to you. I'm so excited always to talk with other researchers in other countries, because this is how we're going to answer the question, by comparing notes. So I want to bring Alan back, because he has stayed on the line, and we've nearly killed him multiple times because he's looking at his phone instead of looking at the road. Alan, Victor says maybe you're right about that.
Yeah, I lost you a while ago. I didn't know if you get to pick me back up. Yeah, it's just, it's an idea like everybody else has, and I'm sure other people has thought of it as well. But this is the first time I've got to hear Victor, and I just wanted to let him know. I guess from now on, I'll just consider him the Mexican equivalent to Art Vale.
Yeah, I've been thinking that all night.
Thank you.
I've been thinking about that all night. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to try to keep my eyes on the road, and y'all carry on.
Sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate your input and your call there, Alan. Wow. Well, let's go now to the first-time caller line. I'm always excited about getting first-time callers on the program. On the first-time caller line, you're on the air with Victor Camacho. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Heather. Awesome show tonight. My name is Daniel, calling from Boston.
Hi, Daniel. Staying up late in Boston tonight.
Usually, yeah.
It's after 3 a.m.
Yes, it is. And Victor, good work. Good work on finding all this stuff. It reminds me of, I don't know if you've heard of Klaus Donna, I think his name is. Mm-hmm. He has it's similar to that stuff. And I don't know if this is a question, but so many questions come to me when I look at that Genesis picture, the Genesis stone. It's hard to grab on to just one.
Yeah, I know what you mean there. I'm going through the same thing right now. Let me ask you this. What is just your raw reaction when you look at that stone and you see what it's depicting to us? What is your just gut raw reaction?
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's impossible. Is it possible? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty incredible, considering what's available to us through school and things like that. But it also, what made me think of the most is if this is all true, and these alien graves are coming here and trading for sperm or taking it. Is it possible that they're still doing that right now?
Yes.
Giving technology?
Yes.
I think this exchange is still.
Right.
Yeah, I guess this exchange is still maybe with technology, maybe with something is important for us. Maybe in the ancient times they were starving or they need something to eat, and they changed this corn for human sperm. And now I guess it's happening the same thing with different items.
Mm-hmm, right. Now the things that are interesting to us are propulsion, energy, these kind of things. And again, in my MJ12 document, and of course, other people have evidence of this as well, that there have been agreements made with the Greys in exchange for technology. They get to abduct people. And to me, this is, oh my God, this is a grand insult to the people of America, and no doubt this is not going on just in our country. This has got to be going on in other countries as well, and I think if this is an agreement that's been made, the people should be told, and I know how crazy it sounds, and I know no government official would ever come out and make an announcement saying, well, we just want to let everybody know there's a possibility that a small percentage of you could be abducted tonight, and if you are, we don't know what they're going to do with you, but we just wanted to let you know. That will never happen. That announcement will never take place, even if it should. But yes, I do believe that the agreement has been made in modern times, and this is still going on.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I guess this is happening right now. I don't know if with the same kind of civilization, because as I told you, it's not just grays that are in these engravings, in these rocks. These different kind of beings. So I don't know if another civilization came here and is doing this exchange with us right now.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, right, because people report contact with several different kinds of species. I just want to make sure our first-time caller here has said everything that he wants to say. You're back on the air. Anything else?
When he was describing the Genesis stone, I was trying to remember what were the little mushrooms in the sky representing? You said that they were the eye of God, I believe. Mm-hmm. Eye in the sky. Yeah. What does that mean?
An Olmec symbol.
Go right ahead, Victor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's an Olmec symbol, and do you remember the Olmecs is the ancient, the more ancient civilization in this region in Mexico. Mm-hmm. It's about 3,500 years old. The Olmecs. So it's like the mother civilization for the other ones. Mm-hmm. So the Genesis stone has this language and also has the Maya and Nahuatl.
And those eyes, what do they represent again? You described this so well earlier. I hate to make you repeat yourself, Victor.
No, but this is the eye in the sky. I don't know what it really means. I mean, you have to put all this together. But what an archaeologist mentioned to me is that they symbolize that somebody's watching, in the sky. Mm-hmm. So that's why. Another archaeologist mentioned that this is like a drop for rain. But I go more for the eye in the sky.
Yeah, when I first saw it, before you had explained this to me at all, when I saw it, I said, that's interesting. Why are there a pair of eyes right in the middle? But then when you look at the whole thing, it makes sense. Yes, there's somebody up in the skies who's observing you. It makes sense. The aliens are looking down and observing whoever is down on this planet. So I very much appreciate the call. Thank you, sir, for your call and for your good questions. My head is just spinning right now. This is amazing stuff. Let's get another reaction here. On the phone, you are now on the air with Victor Camacho. Welcome to the show.
Well, good evening, Heather and
good evening.
Victor. I would just like to say that no credible scientist or archaeologist will ever accept the interpretation of UFOs and aliens, for the simple reason is that no government has accepted or have come forth to say that the UFO is a real phenomenon. So when the archaeologists developed a paradigm of how the people came to inhabit North America across from Asia, and then, as Heather said, they were hunter-gatherers, so they were migrating from North America into South America. They developed culture and their own way of life. And we're looking at things from a 21st century eyes. And if you go back to 16 or 15,000 years ago, you have to determine what exactly were they doing when they carved this stone, this what you call Genesis stone, and how it relates to what's going on in their lives at that time. Mm-hmm. So until such time when science acknowledges the fact that there are UFOs, then the interpretation of these stones, all archaeologists and scientists would not interpret it as a UFO, even though we know that in all likelihood UFOs exist, and but it would change the whole way archaeologists think about science and the evolution of man. Mm-hmm. So I understand that there are many areas in our culture and science and history that depicts something in the sky, and it makes sense that if anyone is going to spend the time to carve a depiction of something, it would have to be a very important, something that they, that they would view as so important that they need to put it in stone.
Right.
Because it takes a lot of time with tools to actually carve something.
Right, and
in
that's
rock.
taking away from your time dealing with your own survival. So it better be very important if you're going to take the time to carve a stone. No, I hear you're making... None of the points you've made I can argue with. All your points are absolutely valid. But the problem is, the trouble is getting... You know, I say this a lot, but it isn't all the way true. When I say mainstream science, mainstream archaeology won't look at these things, but there are archaeologists out there who will look at these things. Michael Cremo will look at these things. Laird Scranton will look at these things. I can't even think of everybody out there. I know quite a few of these guys who will take a look at these. Grant Cameron will look at these things. Graham Hancock will take a look. Eric von Daniken. There's a lot of guys who will. But then again, these guys are looked at by mainstream archaeology as a bunch of kooks, even though I know that they are not a bunch of kooks. Will Hart is another, he's not an archaeologist, but this is what he does. He researches this kind of material in Mexico. And, I just want, right now, Victor, I want to call every single one of them and say, look at this. Will you look at this? So I'm going to be pretty busy.
I mean, there's a lot of videos and pictures that somebody had put in the social media. But the important thing here is that I want is to share the investigation that I've been doing for 6 years. The places that I have to go to make sure that those artifacts came for those places. I know that this is too hard to believe, but there is the information. I'm here not to convince, the people. I know that you have to question it because I have to do it myself too. But just open your mind, The question that they ask me is why these artifacts are right now, visible for the people. I don't have any idea. Maybe this is the time for this information to come up, and the people knows about this. Maybe this is the right time to share this information. Maybe this is the time that we can share it because we have more communication with the people around the world, not just the TV or the radio. We have, the internet and the social media to share this in any language. So I guess this is the time to the people to know this.
I asked you if you knew who Whitley Strieber was. He said at the beginning of this year, this is the year of the UFO. And I think he was right about that, Victor. I think now is the time. I think you're right. Now is the time. For whatever reason, why, maybe none of us can answer why, but it's here. And it deserves our attention, and it deserves a serious look. Again, thank you very much for the call. I was thinking about this, too, because somebody sent me a message through the wormhole that said, don't you think the extraterrestrials have enough genetic material by now? And then I thought about it, and the only thing I could think of is it must be some kind of monitoring that's going on. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a need to continue to collect genetic material unless you're looking for something or unless you're monitoring something over time and monitoring how much of their DNA with our DNA. That makes sense. And the person who discovered DNA, I can't remember his name. I apologize. But even he said, look, there's all this junk DNA. And why is that there? That doesn't make any sense. The only thing that made sense to him is there's some other DNA added with ours. Yeah, or maybe we are a farm planet. Maybe they put, their DNA with ancient people here and they just checking out. We don't have any answers for that. Right. That's why it's important for us to understand why they were here, or they established civilization in these parts of the Mexico. What was the purpose of this? And maybe we can understand after that
where we stand up and where we're going in the future.
Yeah, well, I want to know what the real reason is, too, because don't get me wrong, I really don't know if I can decide, are they good guys or are they bad guys, but I can't imagine extraterrestrials brought us knowledge of civilization and all these other areas, mathematics and science and agriculture, metallurgy, all these different things, out of the goodness of their hearts. There's a reason behind it, and boy, do both of us, all of us, want to know what that reason is. Again, I'm absolutely in awe. Yeah. I am just stunned at this tonight, Victor.
Yeah, it's breathtaking. I mean, you haven't seen anything. I mean, it's just a couple pieces that I show you. There is a lot of glyphs, where she mentioned it, that maybe she's in the control for a ship or something like that. Mm-hmm. There is a glyphs, that they have a capsule, and they're inside the capsule, and they have the helmet, and they navigate in the space. I mean, this is amazing. There is tons of these artifacts with a lot of glyphs and a lot of information in different states. As I told you, this is not just one small town where they have found these artifacts. Mm-hmm. It's 5 different states in Mexico, different materials. I mean, the rocks are totally different. The more beautiful stones are in Michoacan. As I told you, it's jade and gold. And you haven't seen the writing. I mean, the writing is really important because what I was investigating, the relationship with this writing with Asian languages. But I guess for the next time I will show you more of these artifacts and more of these engravings.
We could probably do an entire show on the engravings. But, I would love to have you. You're reading my mind because I would love to have you come back on. We're going to need more time, Victor, to really get through all of this. But on the other hand, I know that you're going to have to put on another replay on your show to be able to come on my show. So, I don't want to get you in too much hot water here. But, man, we're going to have to do at least a few more programs to really get to the bottom of all of this. And I heard you earlier saying that you've still got research to do. There's skeletons to go look at. I mean, there is more to this. You're kind of just getting started. And as astonished as we all are with what you brought tonight, I know this is just a fraction of a % of what you have.
Yeah, this is just a small fraction for the investigation. We've been doing this for 6 years, and there's a lot of things that we can share. And also, it's important for your listeners to know this and investigate more about this. It will change everything about history.
Oh, man. Is your documentary, Forbidden Archaeology, When the Stones Speak, the Man Trembles, by the way, excellent title there, is that in Spanish or in English?
It's in Spanish, but it has English subtitles.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask about it. As long as it's got some
English subtitles. It has a lot of pictures. I mean, I put a lot of pictures in there because it's pretty hard to really show you all this information in your webpage. But if the people are interested, there's a lot of pictures in this documentary.
And again, where can we find that documentary? Is it that at your website, desvelado.com?
Yeah, you can go directly to desvelado.com. I guess there is the email. So you want to order the documentary, just send me an email, and I will send you the price and the address where you can send a check or money order, and I will send you that as soon as I can. Okay.
And what is the email address that we write to?
It's in Spanish, and you will have hard time to... It's desveladomayor@gmail.com.
Okay, all right. So Desvelado, and then the word mayor.
Mayor, yeah, at gmail.com.
Okay, well, that's not so hard.
Okay.
We can probably pull that off, and as long as it's got some subtitles. I mean, I know a little Spanish, but not enough.
If you want to practice your Spanish, you can go to our webpage. There is the podcast from our show, or you can listen one in Spanish and one in English, and and practice your Spanish.
Yeah, I need to. I really do need to practice my Spanish.
Yeah, because this is not just the ancient cultures that established in Mexico. I mean, this is our history. I mean, this is a universal thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe this happened in other places or around the planet.
Right.
And that's why it's important to let other people know that what happened in Mexico, and maybe this is happening in other places.
Yeah, exactly right. Yes, I'm sure in other places maybe there are also anomalous artifacts that stand out, don't seem to fit in.
Yeah.
And indicate that there was a visitation to Earth a long time ago from somewhere else, from people from somewhere else. So since you brought such excellent material tonight, I want to refer you to something, Victor, that you might enjoy taking a look at. If on midnightinthedesert.com, up in the search bar, up at the top, type in MJ12, and that's going to pull up my an interesting document that I received last year. You might want to take a look at that document. It won't cost you anything. Download the PDF.
Perfect.
And it's about a 48-page document, so there's a lot of information in there. It talks about Roswell. It talks about Aztec, New Mexico, and this document was prepared for one of our presidents in 1989. We're not supposed to have it. Yeah, take a look at that.
Thank you.
Is just a small thank you from me. I really feel like I owe you a steak and a beer here. But thank you for coming on. I want to have you back on the program, and you are going to be hearing from me in the future.
Sure. Thank you very much for the invitation. Thank you for the listeners, and hopefully you like this information. Just investigate more about this, and we'll talk later.
We certainly will, Victor. My God, we certainly will. He is now one of my new friends, Victor Camacho, everybody, who does Los Desvelados, his show that he does 6 nights a week, 6 hours a night, and he's been doing this now for 22 years, investigating all the same things that we talk about here on our show. And I can't wait until we get to do this again. I am going to put him in touch with a few people that I know about, especially Whitley Strieber, and we'll see what happens. But tonight, I got to tell you, was a very, very good night. And with that, I will say good night to all of you out there. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll talk about all this happened this week tomorrow night on Open Lines. Good night.